My guest on this episode reminds us that courage isn't always loud. It's the steady, intentional act of taking up space, even in rooms where others may question your belonging. She shares how her grandmother's strength, her faith, and her deep love for community shaped her path into public health. She speaks powerfully about what it means to be the only Black woman in the room and still speak up, claim your worth, and set the tone. Her story is a testament to perseverance, purpose, and the truth that leadership creates a ripple effect. You're listening to the Courageous Public Health Podcast, Episode 9. To all the courageous Black, Indigenous, and women of color leading in public health, this podcast is your space to turn up the volume on your courage. This space centers your voice. This space celebrates your passion. This space amplifies your courage. My role? To listen, to amplify, and to stand with you in the fight for equity. My name is Dr. Christy McClamrock. I'm an epidemiologist, consultant, the founder and CEO of Courageous Public Health, and the host of the Courageous Public Health Podcast. Each week, I have unfiltered conversations with BIPOC women in public health about the challenges you face, the power you hold, and your vision for the future. We talk about the authenticity, vulnerability, and courage that you bring, not just to public health, but to every part of your lives. Because courage is about action, even in fear. It's about taking up space, leading unapologetically, refusing to be erased, and knowing you never have to do it alone. If you're ready to turn up the volume on your courage, if you're ready to take up space, if you're ready to smash the racist, patriarchal, cisnormative, heteronormative, ableist, capitalistic systems, then let's dive into this brand new episode. Thank you for joining me on this episode. I'd like to start by introducing myself if you're brand new to the podcast, or reintroducing myself if you're a returning listener. My name is Dr. Christy McClamrock, and I am the CEO of the Courageous Public Health Consulting Firm, where we support public health organizations through workshop design and facilitation and speaking engagements. I am so excited to introduce you to my guest on this episode. Let me formally introduce her, and then we'll jump right into our conversation. LaShonda Richardson, MPH, CCHW, is a public health consultant, certified community health worker, and the CEO and founder of Emerge Public Health and Community Development, LLC. With a mission to educate, motivate, empower, restore, grow, and evolve, she works with communities, businesses, and organizations to deliver impactful health education, facilitate engaging workshops and events, and develop wellness programs that drive lasting change. As a public health educator, speaker, and event planner, LaShonda specializes in making health information accessible, engaging, and culturally relevant. She's known for her ability to take the pain out of planning by offering seamless event execution, dynamic trainings, and expert-led consulting tailored to the needs of diverse audiences. LaShonda has led powerful initiatives around breast cancer and diabetes awareness, spoken at the North Carolina Public Health Association conference, and created programs that empower communities to make informed decisions about their health. Through Emerge Public Health, she also connects clients with a trusted network of health professionals to ensure specialized, expert-led education when needed. Whether planning an event, facilitating a training, or speaking on health equity, LaShonda brings passion, purpose, and professionalism to everything she does. Let's connect my conversation with LaShonda Richardson right now. Hi, LaShonda. It's so good to have you here. How are you today?
Hi, Christy. I am doing amazing. How are you? It's so great to be here.
I am feeling amazing as well, because we'll just let our listeners in on a little background. We had to spend an hour figuring out how we could hear each other using Riverside. And it was a lot of technical like a lot of technical challenges, but we did it. We totally persevered.
We are here. We made it.
We are here. And the person on the chat who helped us was named Angel. So Angel was definitely our angel to help
Absolutely.
us.
Thank you, Angel. We appreciate
Yeah,
it.
thank you, Angel. Oh my gosh. So yes, so I am doing well, and I'm very glad to finally be able to hear you and for you to be able to hear me.
Same.
And everybody can now hear us. So LaShonda, why don't you start by introducing yourself?
Yes. So I am LaShonda Richardson. I'm the founder and CEO of Emerge Public Health and Community Development, where our mission is to educate, to motivate, empower, restore, grow, and to evolve. And I love working with communities and organizations and businesses on public health education. I love planning events, health and wellness events, using creativity to make sure we give the people what they want so that they can have what they need to make healthier decisions about their health and wellness. I also develop programs for these organizations and these businesses. So just making sure that we have public health education, we have what we need, and we're able to make informed decisions about our health and wellness.
I love hearing about your health and wellness events. I've been really fortunate to be able to attend Charlotte Huntley's entrepreneur workshops was it Orlando, Atlanta, and San Diego so far. And then I always get to hear about what events you're putting on and what you're working on and what your goals are. It's really been great. It's been great.
Thank you.
Okay. So I think we should jump right in. The first question that I want to ask you about is, it's about courage. So, bravery is taking action without fear, while courage is taking action despite fear. And so I would really love to hear some of your experiences from your professional life, also from your personal life. If you want to share those where you acted courageously. And I know you have lots of examples to pull from.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So, I guess I'll start with my personal. I was raised in a little town, in Halifax County in North Carolina. So if you're from there, you kind of know what that is. But I was raised by my grandmother, and she was, religious, and my mom, I have a relationship with my mom, but my grandmother was my rock and pretty much raised me. So just in that, going through that stage in, being in a religious house home, you had to go to school. Like, it was pretty strict. You couldn't, wear pants, or you couldn't do this, and you couldn't do a lot of things that your friends were doing, at the time. And now I'm grateful for that foundation because I felt like it taught me discipline. And but at the time, children are children. They don't understand. So, having to go to school and, hear, what the children are saying, and like I said, kids are going to be kids, but, just having to have the courage to persevere through that. I think it taught me a lot. It taught me how to, like I said, persevere through like things that may be said to you, and gives you a little bit of tough skin. But, I was also always found a way to counteract that. Like, if I couldn't wear a certain thing, then I made sure what I could wear was, top tier. When I started working, I was able to buy a little bit of my own things and, try to blend in, a little more. So I was able to, kind of figure things out. But it taught me how to persevere through things that were difficult. When things are being said to you that that, make you feel a certain type of way, but you overcome that. And you're able to combat that. And like I said, I appreciate the discipline, but it was honestly hard. And, it was fearful because you feared not being able to have friends, or, that you weren't invited to certain things because of, whatever. But just learning how to persevere through that. I would say that was one of the things on the personal end that I learned how to go through.
I mean, I love that. That's a great example of, courage as a child that then informs your ability to be courageous as an adult. And I think we probably all have examples of having to be, of being courageous as children, because
Absolutely.
it's tough out there. It's tough out there for kids.
And like I have my nieces and things that I have now, it allows me to also help the other generation, to know when you've gone through certain things, like you don't understand it then. But then it shapes you to also be able to encourage the generation that's coming behind you in sharing your story and how you were able to be courageous and to persevere through those types of things.
So do you think that your grandmother is one of the people who actually taught you how to be courageous?
Oh, absolutely. I saw her work hard. She loved God. She loved work. She went through her own struggles, and I was able to see that, and I was able to build from that. So I owe, excuse me, a lot to her because she taught me a lot. She taught me a lot, and so she's the reason why I'm the person that I am today. So I'm grateful for her and what I saw her go through. Even in her challenges of, I'm in health and wellness now, and she was a diabetic. And so even though she had that diagnosis, I saw how she persevered through that, how she made the lifestyle changes that she needed to be able to be the best version of herself, even though she had that diagnosis. So it also, when I'm sharing that story, or when I'm listening to people that I'm working with in the community, or if I'm putting on a diabetes event or something, I'm able to kind of have an understanding of what they're going through, and also how to encourage them that they can do better because I saw her do it.
Oh, that's great. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
So what about in your professional life? Because I know that you have had to be courageous in your professional life too.
Yeah, I have. I think that in my professional life, I have been, in a lot of the rooms where, whether it's facilitating or being in project management, or something where I'm the only woman, I'm the only Black woman in the room. And sometimes you just want to make sure that your voice is heard. And so you have to learn how to be powerful but professional, because to be honest, sometimes Black women in the workplace are looked, you don't want to be thought of as the angry Black woman because you are passionate about something. And sometimes it comes across as, some people feel that it's aggressive. So you have to, I feel like I had to learn how to be powerful and professional in my way, so that I can make sure that my voice was heard and that what I had to say was valued, because what I had to say is value added to the situation. So I had to learn how to persevere through that, because I feel like, and I think I read somewhere where sometimes women, as statistics say, that as women, sometimes we won't even apply for a job or something because we don't think that we are, 100% qualified. But you are. Like, you are qualified. You do have a voice. You do have the potential to do anything just as anyone else. So I think in my professional life, what I've learned is to make sure that I claim my space and I speak up. And so that's what that has taught me, to make sure I take up space in the room, to know that what I have to say is important, and that I might not always get it right, but that doesn't mean that my opinion isn't valued. So that's what I've learned in my professional life, to make sure that my voice is heard, even in rooms where people may not feel like I belong, that I'm valued and what I have to say matters.
Yeah. I mean, that's really, you're talking about claiming and expressing your power, right? Mm-hmm. And that is not always an easy thing. I think it takes practice. And like you said, perseverance. So I'm curious about how it feels to be in those rooms where you're the only Black woman.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's difficult because, like I said, not everyone, but sometimes people don't feel like you belong in the room. And so I think I had to learn that when I got into the room, because, and I had to learn that because sometimes when you walk into a room and, you can feel certain things, or you can feel that the energy in the room shifts. It can cause you to dwindle if you're not sure in yourself. And so I think in the beginning, that was me. Like, I would sit back, and because I didn't know if I was going to be 100% correct, or I didn't want to sound that I wasn't intelligent, because, some people may already think I don't deserve to be in the room. So if I say something and it doesn't sound right, then I prove them right, that I'm not supposed to be here because I'm, saying the wrong things, or I'm saying something crazy, or that doesn't make sense. And so I think claiming your power and understanding that when you walk in the room, every room that you walk in, you deserve to be there, and you are there because you belong there and you have a voice once you get there. And no matter how it feels in the room, and I think you are the thermostat. I think it's like you set the temperature for the room, you set the tone for the room, you walk in like that you belong. And even if you don't always get it right, you don't allow fear to shrink you. You still say what you have to say. And if you have to correct yourself, or if you get it wrong, it's okay. And I think I had to allow myself that space and that grace to say, you may not get it right all the time, but you are still valuable. You still go in as prepared as you can. And if you don't get it right, you know what? Next time you go in, you work on it to build it and to make yourself better. But you don't dare not say something. You don't dare challenge something that you don't know, or ask for clarity in something that you don't understand. Your voice is valuable. You deserve to be heard, no matter what it feels like in the room.
Wow. Oh, I just have to breathe into that. That's so powerful. I love that you said you are the thermostat. You set the temperature, you set the tone. Yes. Yes. And, the fact that for a long time, primarily white men have set the tone and set the thermostat. That's patriarchy, right? Those are the systems. That's not a given. People may act like it's a given because it's been that way for a long time, but it's no, we don't actually have to believe any of that stuff anymore. Right.
Absolutely.
The messages about, you don't have worth, or you don't have value because you're a woman of color, because whatever it is, right? Whatever the messaging is, yeah, I'm like, so I feel so inspired, talking to you about just saying, I just don't accept that anymore. I'm not going to accept it. I'm going to walk into the room and I'm going to set the temperature, set the tone. That is really, really, that's really powerful stuff and very inspiring. I am curious, LaShonda, I am really curious about your vision for the future. So let's start with your vision for public health. Obviously, there's a lot going on with public health right now. So your vision for public health and your vision for BIPOC communities and how you see BIPOC women shaping these futures.
Yeah, absolutely. So my vision for public health is to see it stronger, to see community stronger, to see more diversity in public health. I feel like there are a lot of people that have stories and that have information that they can share with others to build, to help the community be built, to grow and to be stronger. So I want for public health, we have to continue to fight. We have to continue to share our stories. We have to continue when things are coming against us to pull together and to be able to share our resources and fight together, because public health is it is the health of our families. It's the health of our friends. It is the health of our communities. And so if we don't fight for that, then who will? And so I think that what I would say is you don't have to have an entire set of credentials to be able to do something in public health. That you can share your story, you can help someone, you can say what you did to get to your goal or how you improved your life. So I just think that working together, fighting for the health of everyone, and pooling our resources and picking each other up. Right now, it is crazy. Like, with all of the things that are going on, people are losing their jobs. They're getting laid off in public health. And I think that we have to see it for what it is. And we have to pull together and see how we can help our brothers and sisters in any way that we can, and to keep the fight going, because we have to. The generation behind us is depending on us to have that fight in us, and they have to see that and to include them in it, include the younger generation in conversations about public health. Because if we are, wanting the generation behind us to be better, we have to include them in the conversation and allow them to know what we're actually fighting for, what we're actually doing, so that they can continue on to build on what we've worked so hard to get to. Yeah,
I think part of my motivation to create this podcast is to, it is about banding together and inspiring each other. I think stories of courage from BIPOC women. We really need that. We really need that, because there's a lot of work to do. There's a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about your vision for yourself, your vision for your future as a Black woman?
So my vision as a Black woman is to encourage other Black women to continue to take up space. To continue, if you don't feel like you have a seat at the table, bring your own. Bring your own table, set your own table. You set your own. It is no longer you waiting around and allow, if you don't feel like you have what you need, build it. And that's what I'm trying to get Black women to see, that you don't have to wait. You don't have to build. In starting my business and even now, I don't have all of the pieces. I don't know, and when I started, I just started. Like when I started these events, like I didn't, and I learned so much along the way as I'm going and as I'm building. So that's what I want for Black women to know, that you just start. Like you don't have to wait for anyone. And I'm a believer. So I believe that if you start something, that God will give you what you need and the resources that you need to continue. So for me, I will say that I trust him in everything that I do. So I go to him and I know that this is the plan for me. So I know that where I'm going and what I'm doing, that's my source. So I say, do what you need to do, get started, and everything else will fall into place. Even if it's not if it winds up, because sometimes we'll start in something and then we decide we see that it's not our thing, or, we may add something or take something along the way. But as long as you're stagnant and you're waiting and you're sitting, you won't get to where you need to be, or you won't hit that goal. So my thing especially for Black women, is to continue to take up space, to know that you're valued, to know that your opinion matters, to know that what you have to offer matters, and that someone is waiting on you to get started.
No more waiting.
No more waiting.
No more waiting.
No more dwindling.
Yep.
Or shrinking. Yeah.
Yeah. Take up the space. Absolutely. Absolutely. So this has been great. This has been so great. And I want to make sure that our listeners know the best way to connect with you. What's the best way to connect with you, LaShonda?
Sure. Yes. I am on LinkedIn under LaShonda Richardson, under my name. And I am on social media networks on Instagram and Facebook at Emerge PHCD. And I do have a website at www.emergephcd.com.
Fantastic.
So those are the ways.
Yeah, and we'll put all of that information in the show notes, so it'll be easy for our listeners to access. Great.
Yes.
Great. Thank you for taking up space. Thank you for taking up the space here. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for this space, and thank you for being an ally for women of color and for people in the BIPOC community. I think that having allies to allow us this space and the opportunity to speak our truth is important to the future of where we're going. So thank you.
It's my pleasure to do it. It's my pleasure. Okay, great. Thank you. We'll be in touch.
Thank you.
That was a lovely conversation. LaShonda reminds us that courage isn't always loud. It's steady, intentional, and rooted in faith. She shows us that taking up space with purpose creates room for others to rise. You can connect with LaShonda on LinkedIn to learn more about her and her courage. All the links to connect with her are on our show notes page for this episode, located on our website, courageouspublichealth.com, under episode 9. Before you return to your day, think of someone in your life who would be moved by this conversation and take a moment to share this episode with them. If you're listening on a podcast app, you can send it via text or share directly to social media. And if you're on our website, the sharing buttons make it easy to spread the word. Thanks so much for being here. Until our next episode, stay courageous. Thank you for listening to the Courageous Public Health Podcast. Visit courageouspublichealth.com to find the show notes for each episode and learn how to connect with us.